It's time to reconvene to regular session. Time is 7:03. Can I get a roll call?
Here.
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 Vice President Walker.
Here.
President Gay.
Here. All right. Can I get a motion to approve of the agenda, please?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Can I get approval of the minutes for board meeting minutes on April 22nd, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Moving on to number 10, reporting out of closed session. The Board of Trustees reports that during closed session, the board took action to initiate legal proceedings related to a due process matter under Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. The board, by a vote of 5 ayes, has directed legal counsel to proceed with filing a due process complaint with the Office of Administration of Hearings against the parents of the student with the district. Due to confidentiality laws governing student records and special education matters, no further details regarding this action may be disclosed at this time. I'm moving on to recognitions and commendations. Employee of the Year recognitions. Let me get to that real quick. All right. Bear with me here. All right. Director of Human Resources, Dana.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight, it brings me tremendous joy to celebrate our Employees of the Year. Each year, staff nominate coworkers who they feel should be recognized as the Certificated Employee of the Year or the Martha Mead Educator of the Year, the Classified Employee of the Year or the Sue Cook Classified Employee of the Year, and the Administrator of the Year, also known as the Mike Crilly Administrator of the Year. Continuing in the tradition that began in 2017-2018 school year, we are pleased to recognize Certificated and Classified Employees of the Year from each site, as well as our Administrator of the Year. Each of these employees, as I tallied up the nominations and who was the final winner, it genuinely brought a smile to my face as I thought about my interactions with each of the winners this year. Because they not only support our students, but they support each other at their school community, at the larger district community, and the community at large. So in our celebration this evening, what we'll do is we'll play a short video to announce all of the winners. Following the video, we'll invite winners who are present this evening up by school site to present them with their certificates and to take a picture with the board president. Our winners, once you receive your certificate, you may return to your seat. You don't have to stay standing up there. And then the board will share their comments. After board comments, we'll pause to take a full group picture, and then we'll enjoy a short recess where we can celebrate some more. All right. Karine, do you have our video? Thank you, Corinne, for your help. All right, are we ready to begin with the presentation of our certificates? You're so quiet, I didn't even notice. Okay, beginning with Jefferson High School, Pilar Coronado. And Denise Bibiano. Now on to Oceana, Jen Arcenega. Transitioning to Terra Nova, Maya Lazowski. Michaela Christensen. Right, now Thornton High School, Andy Solomon.
Oh, we're gonna go.
Yeah, you are both in the light. And Tracy Borza.
Drums.
Now Westmore High School, Zari Denegri. Now adult programs, Willem Kalalang. And Twyla Ava. From Daly City Youth Health Center, we have Sahar Naveed. And from the district office, we have Gina Fogarty. And last but certainly not least, Danielle Sweeters. All right, now I'm going to turn it back over to the board so that way you all have space for comments.
There we go. Like to open it up to the board for comment?
All right, I'll kick it off.
There you go.
Thank you, all of you, and congratulations for such incredible work you've done for all of our students and for your colleagues and the care you have for the work that you do for our students, and much deserved. And I know just from having gone around and seen some of you at some of your sites, knowing exactly the kind of work that you do. So just thank you.
Yeah. Following up on that, seeing all the people come up to be congratulated is really humbling. Honestly, it makes me miss high school. Kind of want to do it again just so I can have teachers like y'all. But without a doubt, you make our district special and it makes our job a little bit easier, right? To see that you guys are doing the work and you're being recognized for it. We recognize you. Whatever we can do to support you more, make you feel seen, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you for your service. We really, really appreciate it.
This is my 11th year on the board, which I can't believe. 18 more to go. But I'm so glad we have this program because it's a chance for your peers to recognize you. And although we can't get to every classroom and meet everyone, this just fills me with joy when I see your peers recognizing you and just everything that our school district has been through lately. I mean, over the last 11 years, right? At least. I know that our students have trusted people that they can always turn to. When my daughter and my son were in high school in this district, they always had those trusted adults because, they needed someone to turn to. And I want to recognize Denise Bibiano over here, who her daughter is one of my daughter's best friends. And she used to be at your house every day after school. You're someone all the students trust. We rely so much on all of you. And I know that you've changed lives and you're saving lives. That's how I look at all of you, because that's what you do. Even if you don't even realize it, you are making a difference in students' lives. And one day they'll come back to you. You don't even know that they'll say, hey, do you remember that day when you talked to me? That really changed my life. Because that's what you do. And like I also see Ms. Coronado, you made a huge difference in my daughter's life. During the pandemic, she was stuck at home for a whole year, and you looked out for her. Her grandfather died. You looked out for her, even though you weren't with her in person. And I'm forever grateful for that. So you all make such a huge difference in our students' lives and in each other's lives. So I'm just so grateful to you. Thank you.
Congratulations, everyone. For being recognized by your peers. It's truly special. I want to thank you all for everything that you do. I know the limited times that I get to go to a school, everyone's so nice to me and looks so happy to see me. And high school space, the space of high school is kind of dedicated to students. You got lockers and you got chairs and you got libraries. And I feel like those of you who work for the district in the high schools get this little limited space, it's your desk or your walls or whatever. And I walk into your classroom or whatever space you have and you're all like, look at this. And I'm so happy that, you're all so proud to show it to me. And I'm glad you come here tonight, into some of the space that I have here, so we can all be together and just celebrate what you do and what we do it for, which is for the students. So thank you for leading the community.
How about that slideshow, though? That was pretty cool. They did a really good job with that. Everybody looked good up there. Huge shout out to you guys and congratulations for, being recognized for what I consider a really big honor. Employee of the Year is kind of a big deal. I think I've always aspired to be Employee of the Year. I haven't got one yet, but maybe one of these days. But I know that it feels good. I'm sure it feels good to be recognized for all your hard work and for everything that you put into it that, I'm sure quite often is underappreciated and nobody really sees what goes on, behind closed doors and how much work you guys put into things and, how much sacrifice you guys, you really, put out there, as far as your families and the time and just everything that you guys do. I mean, I having been on the board now for going on my third year and really seeing what goes into education and the people behind the scenes it's just amazing. And that's just, it's, there's no words for what you guys do. So thank you. And congratulations.
I have so many thoughts in my head. So first of all, thank you to Director Lujan for putting this together. And something that she said rang so true to me when I see all of the people who won tonight. There's a thread, a common thread. You are people that when I walk into your schools, you sort of shine. You're people who are there greeting me, but anybody, the kids, the parents, your colleagues. We ask the kids, do you feel seen, heard, and valued at school? This is something that in these past few years, we really are talking to our students to see. And because that's what it's about, like the humanity. We are here with each other for the students, and we're all humans, and we all need to be seen each day and valued. And you all do that every day for each other and for the students. And for that, I'm very, very grateful. And I'm really happy that you are being honored. And I just want to congratulate you. Thank you for being part of JUHSD.
So
I just want to say congratulations to everybody who got this, for putting hard work into students and schools. But I do want to give a big shout out to Ms. Solomon and Ms. Tracy, because these two were just, my shoulders to lean on at school. They definitely make a difference every single day. And you could definitely see that they put effort into caring about their students and making school a comfortable environment. So I just want to say thank you guys for all of that. And congratulations to everyone once again.
thank you, Sophia. And we were going to take a short recess for pictures, but I think I'd like to open it up to any of the winners this year to get up and say something if you'd like. No pressure. We could skip it and go straight to pictures. Totally up to you guys. Just wanted to give somebody the opportunity. That's all. Okay.
Hi, my name is Zari Denegri, and I work at Westmore High School. I'm a campus supervisor, and thank you, Mr. Zhao, for nodding. I want to say I've been there for 1 year. It's been a great experience. Just not just being a campus supervisor, but I also helped introduce a food market, a free food market at our school, thanks to a parent at our school. And I'm a member as well in her Miracle of Giving. And it started in August last year. And she decided to, bring snacks the first week of school when school started, which helps a lot of families and students to just like have something in their stomach or to eat because they're rushing. School started, everyone's, a little bit unorganized at the moment. So that happened, and students and families were very happy. They were like, oh, what is this? Even the staff were like, oh, where are these fresh fruits coming from? So, and her name is Rose and Kirby, excuse me, are the ones that help bring produce to our school to feed our families. And I'm able to contribute by distributing that in excuse me, the T building. And so it's like a free market. It's a free market for students and staff. And it's introduced, like learning about fruits and vegetables. And they ask a lot of questions. Why is it free? How is it free? What do we have to do to earn it? I'm like, no, it's there. It's there as a snack. Like today, we had bananas. We're super grateful, for everything that comes through from Rose and Kirby. And yeah, I'm really happy to, there's Rose. Hi, Rose. Thank you. So yeah, I'm really happy and proud that the school has accepted that and allowed me to be able to open that, which helps students throughout the day. Even athletes come in there, do you have fruits? And I'm like, wow, yeah, they are choosing a healthier snack, and sometimes there'll be a little sugary snack, but it's mainly the apples. They love the apples and the tangerines. So, yeah, and I'm really enjoying my time at Westmore. I've started with TDS 2008, and then I worked in adult transition, awesome experience. Went to Jefferson High School. All those years I was a special education para educator, and I've grown and learned so much from many talented staff and teachers and administrators. And now I'm a campus supervisor, and I'm really enjoying helping more than just the classroom, outside of the classroom. Thank you.
Thank you for
Thank
sharing.
you very much for having me. Thank you.
So, Pilar Coronado, Jefferson. So 30 years ago in June, I graduated from my credential program at Stanford and walked onto Jeff campus in August, and I have been there ever since. So if I do the math, this coming year will be my 30th anniversary there. So 30 years, a lot of good memories, really great ones, really great moments. Mark Bashir's in the back was my student teacher. I'm not going to do the math on that one. But even more special, and I'm just going to point her out, is Miss Jasmine Griffith over there, who was my student. And there's Calvin Louie, who teaches math this year, his first year. My student again. Jared Marr, my student, teaching art. Fabiola Gutierrez, our psychologist, also one of my students. And then this year, Flavina Daria, who's working up at the front, my student. So we had Sheila Patel working counseling, also my student. We had Gilvin Paniza, who wasn't my student, who's also there. Marissa Witten, also my student. So I think Jeff is a very special place because nowhere else have I seen students become teachers. So I don't know if the board was aware of that, but I wanted to make it aware of it tonight because this is what makes us a special place, because we're just not teaching, but we're building a community in our district. And that's something I really love. So I want to thank you for this opportunity. And I want to thank Ms. Griffith over there for just being one of my wonderful proteges. And I'm going to go give her a hug. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think I have to say something too, and just second what really you all have said. And Ms. Coronado, thank you. So I've did my student teaching at Jefferson in 2002, and I've been with this district ever since then. And this year I'm taking a leave of absence. I don't know exactly how long this is going to be, but starting in June, it's going to be the first time that I don't work at Jefferson Union High School District in my entire adult life. So I really need to say thank you to everybody in this whole community. It really is a community, really exactly what you said. I've felt the love in this. I've worked in every school in the district. I've spent a lot of time with just about everybody in this district. And I've just had the best time of my life, really. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, community.
Thank you.
Hi, Gina Fogarty, District Office. I just want to thank everybody for all the support that you've shown. I started in this district in 1997 as a para, and I think it was 22 years later that I went into the attendance office. When I was a para, I was never going to leave the classroom. It was so amazing to be a part of making a difference with the kids. And then I went into attendance. And that was amazing. And I was never going to leave attendance because it's the best job ever. And then I came into the district office and a new building. And it's just been the best. It has been the best. Everybody that I work with, and then my family that came supporting me and surprising me. And then I come to another family at work. And I just want to thank you for everything.
Thank you. All right. Anybody else going to brave the microphone? All right. If not, we'll take a short recess then for some pictures, break for cakes and coffee, and then we'll come back.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody that's going to take the picture, go against the yellow wall. Please.
as well. And at the end with the senior recognitions, you can tell these students just adore Miss Stewart, and it was just beautiful to see. And yes, I did go to the annual youth summit by Be the Change Youth Coalition. Our Oceana students who presented on wellness and substance use. It was very well attended, and boy, are these students prepared. They really one of the panels that I got to see was on anxiety and how to deal with it, recognize it and deal with it. And they really got students involved in that. And right after that, I went to Westmore to the celebration of the first cohort of our students in the Future Grads program. There's so many Jefferson and Westmore students. This is the program led by Boys and Girls Club of the Peninsula. These students started in that program when they were sophomores. And so they all announced what their future college plans were. And many of our students were there, and many from Jefferson and also from Westmore. And then, of course, last night we celebrated our Student Advisory Council, this year's council, amazing group of students. Many will be returning. And but of course, it's a bittersweet moment when you have to say goodbye to the seniors who went through being student trustees, and some of them for 2 to 3 years. And now we have to say goodbye to them. But it was really nice to see their growth and how much the program meant to them. And with that, I will pass this on.
Back on May 3rd, I saw Trustees Lee and Tejada and Superintendent Presta at the Farewell to the Jefferson High School Gym event, which was pretty special. Not particularly big and not overly officious, but a lot of fun hearing the memories, meeting the alumni, seeing what was in the time capsule, which preserved rather well. And just seeing kind of the joy of people who've been around this community for a long time. It was also a good time to talk about the things that are happening in the district, to express my pride on being on this board, to hear Trustee Lee talking to a member of the class of 66 who used to be a small town mayor, and watching his gears turn as we were talking about teacher housing, which he never really heard about, and staff housing, not teacher housing. Thank you. I appreciate it. And watching the wheels turn in his head about, wow, I wonder if that would work somewhere else. And, getting to explain to him that it's kind of a thing right now. And just hearing Trustee Lee share the experience with him was pretty special. It was, as someone who's not from around here, great to be at a place where people had kind of expressed what Jefferson High School and the school district meant to them. I also visited some schools yesterday with Superintendent Presta. We were at Terra Nova High School in the morning and Oceana right after that. It's always a pleasure to be at the schools when school's in session, when the students are around.
Thank you, Shrek. Let's see. A couple weeks ago, I was at the Daly City Coma Chamber of Commerce Scholarship Access to Higher Education Award Ceremony, where they awarded a bunch of our students and some other students scholarships. So that was really cool to see that and be a part of that. Earlier today, I was also part of our retirees celebration here at the district office, which was really nice to be a part of as well. And yesterday, I was also there for our student advisory end of the year celebration. And I think the highlight of that for me was actually listening to them speak to us on how impactful being part of that committee has been for them, and just how much it meant to them individually and as a student body. And I think it's really cool that our school district does that for our students, and look forward to more of that. So that's it for me. We'll let Ms. Tony Presta have the mic.
Thank you. So I first want to say, the end of the year is filled with so many events at every school events, district events, county events. There's just events, literally 3 piling up on each other every day, probably. And actually, they're really fun to go to. I don't see it as like, all this stuff. And this year I got sick. I wasn't able to go to as many of the events in the last 2 to 3 weeks that I typically would. So I want to really thank the school board trustees. I want to thank the administrators that show up, that have consistently shown up for our students, to acknowledge our students and to acknowledge our staff for all of the accomplishments of the year, because it really makes a difference to people when we show up for them. So, but I did go to some. I want to mention, I was not able to go to the Kent Awards, but we received some Kent Awards, and I know that there were trustees who were there and administrators that went.
One trustee.
Pardon me? Okay. So thank you, Trustee Tejada, for going. And I also want to say that it was, as Trustee Walker mentioned, the Jefferson goodbye was not super formal, and also really wonderful just to hear the memories that people shared and to get a feel. There were lots of people who I think graduated a long time ago, and it obviously meant a lot to them that we did that. So that was really good. I'm not sure if I mentioned it. I think it was after our last meeting that I went to the Terra Nova musical that they pulled together in like record time in 6 weeks. And it was one of the best musicals I've seen. It was fabulous. The singing was great. The stage, I don't know what you call that. The props, I don't know, were great. It was great. And so I was just really, really impressed. And then finally, I say this all the time. One of my favorite parts of being a superintendent of Jefferson Union is our student trustees, our student advisory council. It is the most fulfilling part of my week. And we just had a really lovely final meeting last night. And as has been mentioned, the students, we gave them a chance to speak. And I think practically every student got up and said how much they thanked us for giving them the opportunity. I really was like, thank you for stepping up and serving your community. But they have done a great job this year. They're at meetings every other Monday night. I mean, it's a lot of time. And I also just want to mention that many of our elected officials gave them certificates. So thank you to Ms. Johnson, who reached out to those elected officials for us. And again, I didn't realize how much that meant to the students, but the students really were taken aback that they had all of these certificates from elected officials. So I want to thank the elected officials for taking the time to do that for our students and acknowledging their service. And we've got a few more weeks of lots of fun events and then graduations, and I'm looking forward to a really great end of the year. Thanks.
Can I make one more?
Sure.
I'm sorry. It just dawned on me. I feel really bad. I'm a Jeff grad, and I didn't mention that I had been at the closing of the saying goodbye to the gym and opening of the time capsule. When this time capsule in 1937, I was given the honor of being the one to open it. And it meant so much to me to be able to do that. And I saw a lot of my old teachers and coaches there, other alumni I haven't seen in years, like 20 years, and they were there. And I appreciate they said, "You look just the same." And I go, "Well, thank you." They'll have to put me in a time capsule soon. But But it was really a really special thing, and I'm glad that we all went to that.
Thanks, Rosie. All right, we're moving on to 12D, AFT Local 1481 report, Miss Monica Casey. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped something.
I know.
Are there any board subcommittee reports?
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
Okay, go ahead, Marty. I'm sorry.
May 5th, we had Daly City Youth Health Center Advisory Board meeting. And the key highlights for that is we're still looking for some board advisory members. And essentially people of high net worth, because we're always looking for money, especially with everything that's going in government right now, with grants potentially getting cut. They're really thinking of a strategic and intelligent ways to keep raise funding, and also still working on our rebranding. We've narrowed down to a few names and logos. That's still TBD, but that's some exciting news there. It will not be a mouthful anymore like it is now. That's it.
Thank you, Marty. Anything else? All right, now, Monica, you have the stage. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. Is this on? Okay. Monica Casey, AFT 1481. I just want to say that I'm really proud of our negotiations team and the work that we did. I want to remind all of us that we have a lot more work to do. The progress we make is often shadow, there's a shadow over it because of the progress that is made around us in San Mateo County, especially. So we still need to push. I want to remind everyone that our negotiations team is wall to wall, and that means that we have representatives from all of our different contracts and different areas, and it makes it a very robust team. And what we're trying to do is lift everyone and trying to get the most for everyone, for most people. We do realize that we need to really lift up classified a little more, put a little extra oomph on there in the future. As I've previously mentioned, AFT 1481 is a part of CFT's task force with many other union locals. We're participating in EQS, is what we're calling it, Educators for Quality Schools. And we're trying to lift up all educators, including classified, as well as certificated. Certificated can't do their jobs without classified. And our students need all of us. We need to lift all of us up. And the 3 vision statements are: our students have fully staffed schools with highly paid and trained education workers. We want to bring back and instill pride and trust in our profession. And all education workers, furthermore, and all Californians have high quality, affordable, and accessible healthcare benefits. So those are the things that we're working on. And you will see similar ideas being worked on by CTA. And there's a rally on Saturday in San Francisco. And so many of us will be joining our UASF partners, union partners in the city for a rally and a march. So if you want to join, you can look at our website. There's more information there. Thank you.
Thank you, Monica. Okay, unless there are any changes, can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items, please?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and I don't believe there's any public comment, correct?
No comment.
Okay, so moving on to 16A1, Jefferson Union Sustainability Committee presentation. And that's going to be Ms. Tina Van Raphorst.
Good evening, President Gallegos, members of the board.
It's my pleasure tonight to introduce a group of students who are part of an exciting new initiative for our district, the Jefferson Union Sustainability Committee. This group was created as a result of board action adding a green school operations board policy last year. The committee is tasked with helping lead the way in building a more environmentally responsible and sustainable school community. And although the committee is in its early stages, the students have already demonstrated impressive leadership, creativity, and commitment. I'm super proud to have worked with this committee this year. I have been coordinating the committee, and it's been incredibly rewarding. The students and teachers on this committee have brought their passion and their ideas to life. Tonight will be their first time sharing their annual update with you. They're going to highlight the foundation that we've started to build and the progress they've made and the goals that they have for the year ahead. So if you could join me in welcoming Angel, Ava, Calvin, Jasmine, and Josh to the podium.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Calvin Chan. I am the student representative for Terra Nova High School, and I'm also a junior. Next slide, please. Here's our mission statement. We are students, staff, and community members from Jefferson Union High School District. We hope to make district-wide environmentally conscious changes.
Hi, my name is Ava Litz, and I'm also a student representative for Terra Nova High School for the committee, and I'm also a junior. So here are a few highlights of our Constitution. So in 2023, the Student Eco Alliance petitioned for the school board to adopt the board policy 3510, or Green School Operations. In spring of 2024, the policy was passed, in addition to the Jefferson Union High School District declaring a climate emergency. In winter of 2024, JUHSD was formed, upholding the suggested strategies while coming up with innovative ways to incorporate environmental action in the district. We aim to bolster and enhance involvement of student participation in the implementation and evaluation of green initiatives and current practices.
Hello, I'm Jasmine. I'm from Westmore. So this is more about the structure of our committee. So currently we have one adult and one student serving as a committee chair. They help lead our meetings and overall help us get things done. And from each school, we have a representative. So we have one staff representative that's stipended and one or two student representatives. We also have our general committee members, which consists of students, staff, and general members of the Jefferson Union High School District community. And we also have our subcommittees, which are groups of community members that focus on one area, for example, like social media, community events, and etc.
Hello, my name is Josh. I'm a senior at Westmore High School and also one of the student representatives for Westmore. So for the goals subcommittee, we have analyzed and dissected board policy 3510, or at least in the process of. And what we're doing is we're making SMART goals out of these. So we're looking at stakeholders, we're looking at first efforts and steps and feasibility. And these SMART goals pertain to curriculum, campus, culture, and community.
Hi, I'm a member of the communications subcommittee. So a few things that we've done in our time of meeting is we've created an Instagram account to share what we've been doing, our meetings, and sustainable information with our students. We've created flyers for the events team to really share the word about how students in the district can get involved, as well as creating infographics for ideas to celebrate Earth Day, both in their community and in their schools. We posted that on the Instagram, so it's accessible for students to learn more.
We also have the waste management subcommittee. So our subcommittee mainly focused on like what our school sites could improve with proper disposal of waste. And from that, we saw that a lot of students didn't know how to properly dispose of waste, or there's a lot of like gray areas in which like they didn't really know how. So from that, we derived some goals. So our main goals for next year are to promote education on waste disposal, getting rid of all single bins and implementing more tri-bins that splits compost, recycling, and general garbage, and also having waste audits done at each site and starting the year with clear education on how to properly dispose of waste. And we would like to do that by building off with having new signs on our garbage bins and potential garbage monitors.
Hello, my name is Angel, and I'm a junior at Westmore High School. And over the past couple of months, the events subcommittee has discussed about district-wide fundraiser events and community cleanups, along with the Chipotle fundraiser, which was held on May 3rd. Some of the Sustainability Committee's overall accomplishments were that the committee has met 9 times since December, with the regular meetings being held on the second Thursday of each month during the school year. So watch out for information at the start of the next school year. We have developed partnerships and plan to make an annual presentation to the school board each spring. Some of San Mateo County Office of Education Sustainability Climate Ready Schools Awards have standout leaders, which are Mills and Westmore High School students, and Terra Nova High School, and the $500 financial winner, which is Jefferson Union High School District.
We'd like to share some acknowledgements that made our committee possible and as successful as it has been so far, especially starting with the Board of Education. You really made it possible for us to take on this initiative, especially with the stipend position for staff. We aren't able to have this committee without adult facilitation. The San Mateo County Office of Education, which has given awards promoting sustainability through our district and also playing a role in our meetings, as well as the Peninsula Clean Energy and San Mateo County Sustainability Department. Thank you.
Thank you. Like to open it up for comment? Yeah. Huh? Oh, is that your guys' logo? That's cool.
Don't go anywhere.
We're gonna open it up for comment, you guys.
Might ask you questions.
Yeah. All right. I'll kick it off. First off, great, excellent presentation. Thank you so much for the work you've put in. Question for one or all of you: what's been the most exciting part of this process so far this year, and what are you looking forward to doing next year?
I think it's been really exciting.
Coming to the microphone. Yeah.
All right, thank you. I think it's been really exciting working with like-minded peers, not only in my school, but also across the district. It's really shown me how so many of us are committed to sustainability and working towards bettering our district. And for next year, I'm looking forward to gaining more traction and really inviting more students to participate.
Fantastic. Anyone else? Same questions?
This year, I've enjoyed building the foundations of a system that will hopefully build the partnerships ready from both a student to school district level, a school district to community level, and a student to community level. All these different partnerships that we've started to establish the relationship will hopefully create that change through policies, through culture, through campus, that we could eventually make climate change and build a healthier community.
Thank you.
I have a question. Yeah, again, amazing presentation. And I think, Tina, I want to apologize for missing the meeting. One question I have is, and I'm guilty of this, is I start out really well-intended to sort out my trash, make sure the recycle goes in the right recycle bin, make sure organic goes into organic, right? But I'm always bombarded with this question, like, how do you know is actually getting recycled? Can I challenge you guys to really be able to go further in your research next time you come up to really tell the average consumer, say, hey, when you recycle a bottle, this is where it ends up. When you recycle plastic, this is where it ends up. I think informing the public of that would be, at least for me, I would really, really like that. So not really a question, more of a request, but amazing presentation. Please.
Yeah, so I understand what you mean because definitely I also had like questions on like, oh, like what is done with our trash? Like, does it all get tossed into like one bin? And one of okay, I kind of forgot his name, but like what our he's from like the bus garage, but he told us that the way our trash is actually recycled is that, let's say they're looking at the recycling bin or like the compost bin, and they lift it up, and if there's like one piece of garbage that's like not supposed to be there, then that's when they like throw the whole thing in like one like the black trash cans, which is we found that to actually be a problem, which is why we really want to like push education next year to have like students and staff and like generally everybody on school campuses to be like aware on how they sort their garbage. That way that once the janitors do lift up the garbage bags and they see, oh, there's no problem, then they can actually like compost it. They can actually like recycle it all. And we want to do this mostly through like, again, like signs, but we also want to try to reach others through like potentially school assemblies. I know Peninsula Clean Energy is currently offering a $10,000 grant for schools that are like willing to do like school-wide assemblies on like climate education. So that's like a great way to start.
Thank you. Definitely learned something.
Well, $10,000, that's a great carrot. Yeah. Amazing. Oh, amazing logo for one. Did you all collaborate on that?
One of our communication subcommittee's designs.
Wow, amazing. And just a wonderful, yeah, really a wonderful presentation. And I can tell all of you care so much about this and that you've been able to do so much in just 9 meetings, which tells me that you're communicating with each other and you're doing work outside of the committee. So what I have a few questions, and one is, have you noticed a difference in all of your research between how you can take this initiative, how different it looks in Daly City schools and Pacifica schools because of the like one uses Recology, one uses Republic, I think. So have you looked into that and what have you noticed?
So yeah, again, like our committee just like actually we also just like got educated on like the kind of like companies that like dispose of our garbage, which is why like we wanted to like implement the trash audits to see like the differences between the different school sites, because again, like some school sites also might not have like as many like tri-bins as other school sites. And that's why we really want to like see like the kind of bins that each school use, and as well as like just like the placement of the bins and also what trash actually gets disposed into like the bins. Yeah.
That's great. That was my other question. It's like, what is a trash audit? Thank you for answering that. And then you also mentioned maybe placing a garbage monitor. Would that be the same, like students would volunteer for that or?
Yeah, so right now it's like mostly a possibility. We saw that a lot of like elementary school districts actually have this. So basically these garbage monitors like kind of just like stand by voluntarily. They like stand by the bins to make sure like people who are like disposing their trash properly. And if those people are like, oh, I don't know where this goes, then they like let them know, oh, this goes in this bin and that goes in that bin. And we're currently like trying to like see if like students are willing to volunteer at different school sites.
My daughter and my son were at Marjorie Tobias Elementary School in Daly City. They did that. And so it wasn't just that it was a club. It was every student was interested in doing it. And those students, they would go on to Westmore and Jefferson. Some went on to other, Oceana and Terra Nova, but mostly the Daly City schools. And then they would find out that the schools didn't have the tri-bins, but they were still trying to at least, recycling, go in recycling. So I really commend you on moving this forward. I'm looking forward to working with you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation. Great job. I have one. It's not even as strong as a suggestion. Maybe it's a strategy. So again, thank you for everything you've done. And I encourage you to amplify your voices. And you've already talked about getting more students involved. What I encourage you to do is get yourselves in front of bigger audiences, students, of administrators. I don't know that there's a place right now for you to participate in things like orientation or in ASB. I don't know what it's called, but it's an opportunity for every club in ASB to present itself. But I hope you do get to do that kind of thing, or that you come up with your own ways to be in front of large audiences, because I think that your message can be simple and can be powerful like it is tonight, and that a lot of people get to hear it. And I wish you luck and thank you.
Yeah, I think you kind of mentioned it in your recommendation. Well, first of all, I'm sorry, but I've got Calvin, Ava, Jasmine, and Josh. I think I missed somebody. Who did I miss? Angel, I'm sorry. Hi, Angel. I just wanted to make sure I got your name. You guys did an amazing job on your presentation. I remember hearing about this when it first got presented to us, and I was like, this sounds really cool. I wonder how it's going to go. And you guys sound like you mean business, and you guys definitely got your boots on the ground and trying to figure this out. And it's making our schools better, making our district better. It's making our communities better. And you guys are leading by example. So keep grinding it out. Keep working hard at it. Keep trying to recruit those students and talk to people about it. You got to get people comfortable with the idea that, recycling and taking care of your communities is what we need to be doing instead of just being carefree about it. So definitely spread the word. So what has been your guys' biggest challenge as far as reaching out to your constituents, your students at other schools or in your own schools?
I would say that we, as obviously a new committee, have already started communicating through principals and ASBs and flyers, and that has been good. I think what we can improve on in the future is building that community, not only from just getting the information out to them, but creating a community where climate action and sustainability action and both personal habits and events are going to be well attended, and they want to come because they are engaged with climate action and sustainability efforts because it is part of their community. I don't think this is something that could be achieved instantly, but is part of our wider, broader community efforts in building trust in both climate change and us as a school district.
Thanks, Calvin. If there's anything that you guys think that we could do to help out, just, let us know. Yeah. Thank you.
One more comment. I actually think, especially for you folks that are graduating now and eventually going to be graduating, going to college and things like this, climate change is an existential crisis. And I think this is a really good platform that you can build to not only take it on as a major, but really find a problem that you can truly solve that then leads to entrepreneurship. Okay. So entrepreneurship, find a problem, solve for it, and find a way to monetize it. All right. Awesome.
Thanks, Marty.
So thank you. That was a great presentation. And I'm very proud of you guys because you brought something to us and then, made us listen, really. Like your voices were strong and the adults listened to the young people. And then I want to so thank you for stepping up because our planet needs you. We all need you. And I have, frankly, more faith in you than in us to change this. I want to especially thank Deputy Superintendent Ben Raphorst because this was a large undertaking and she's got a large job. And this was, a big undertaking to add on to her responsibility. So I'm really grateful and I love that you said you really enjoyed it and it was fulfilling, and that makes me happy because you did a great job with it. I also really want to thank Julie Hilborn from the San Mateo County Office of Ed for being involved and for being here tonight. I see teachers who were involved. Marlene, I'm really happy and thankful to the adults who, and the young people said, we really need adults to help us with this. And so, I think it did make a difference that we made it a stipended position so that we were able to get more people, but more people than were stipended showed up, right? So thank you to everybody involved. I had a bunch of stuff I was going to say. Oh, I'm going to put a little idea out there that the Student Advisory Council, the student trustees are going to be recruiting. And so just last night, we were starting, the students are getting their information together. And I think by the end of the week, are going to be putting social media posts out and recruiting. But I don't want to minimize your role, continue in your roles next year if you're not graduating. But I encourage you, if you're interested, to perhaps become a student trustee. That's another way to amplify your voices. And I also want to say that, a lot of the things that you touched upon are things that I've been hearing that the adults haven't solved, right? That we've known I don't mean this to sound rude, but it's not a new idea that there's not a good enough labeling on things. We know that. We keep trying to get better labeling and it keeps not really being enough. So I'm really glad that you noticed that and saw we need better labeling and we need to train, we need to teach people how to separate the trash, because we also know that when the custodians come and there's, landfill in the recycling bin, they don't take it out and then recycle. They just landfill everything. And so then all of our efforts are for naught. So I'm really pleased to hear some of your conclusions at the end of this first year. And so you have, I think, some really great ideas on things to work on next year. And I'm just really grateful to you. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Presta. Oh, Sophia's gone. Thank you, everybody. Okay, moving it along. Go to 16A2, which is SMCO Green Facilities Data Collection Report Recommendations. And we'll let Ms. Tina Van Raphorst take it from there.
Thank you. So continuing our focus on sustainability, I'm pleased to introduce Julie Hilborn from the San Mateo County Office of Education. From the beginning of our sustainability committee and even just thinking about it, she has been instrumental, as has the rest of the San Mateo County team. Their guidance, resources, collaboration have really helped us in building a strong foundation. This evening, she'll be sharing with you some benchmark data that they have compiled about our school district, and they've already made this presentation to the Sustainability Committee, and we've already started talking about what insights we have gathered from that and what could help us in our next steps. So I'll turn it over. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Tina. Good evening, President Gallegos, Superintendent Presta, all the members of the board, community, students. It's great to be here, and I really appreciate that you all are having me here today. I am the Environmental Literacy and Sustainability Coordinator at the San Mateo County Office of Education. And we've been working with Jefferson School District in multiple capacities. It's perfect that we're having this presentation right after the Sustainability Committee, because we're going to talk about some solutions and some of those things that you all said. And by the way, great job as well. Some of the things that you all were talking about regarding solutions, they all do exist. And so that's something that we can all take heart with. It's just a matter of putting them into practice. That's the part that the adults have a hard time with. We have them, we're just not putting them into practice. The students are putting a little bee in our bonnet to make sure that we do that. So that was awesome, you all. And it's been a joy to work with you, and I will continue to work with you. Okay, so we came into the district, it's been several months now since we collected this data. We call it our Green Facilities Data Collection Project. And this is the report for you all on the data that we collected. It's a collaboration with Peninsula Clean Energy, the San Mateo County Sustainability Department, and our office. Without those other agencies who funded all of this, we would not have been able to collect this data. So we're very thankful for them. The purpose of it was for us to more effectively identify priorities for each district so that districts can be making good decisions to support the sustainability goals and mandates that you all have that we were talking about earlier. And so the areas where we came in and we collected some data are these that you see here. We're going to talk about all of them. Some of them are more feasible for your district than others. And some of them are also more important when it comes to reducing climate change than others. So we'll talk about all of that. And if you want more description, there's a little link to a project description there. My program, the Environmental Literacy and Sustainability Initiative, really focuses on what we call the 4 C's: campus, curriculum, community, and culture. Tonight, we're going to talk about the campus. And the campus really is the foundation of all of it. We know that the curriculum, the culture, all of that is very hard for students to really have a good experience with if they are in facilities where they're not able to go to school because there's a flood, or there are wildfires and the smoke is in the building, or there's high heat days. So that we can have the best programs in the world, but students will not be able to learn if they're in facilities that are not climate resilient and serve as a lab for learning and that are not disrupting their learning. And so the district has just done some really wonderful things already. And we're going to talk about, a few other things that could be done. So I wanted to just show you some site aerials before we start, because we're going to talk about all of these schools. So you'll see here that we've kind of highlighted one of the roofs at Jefferson High School. And we did that just to show that there are some rooftop heating units and also solar panels, which is great. And I'll talk about the rooftop heating units later, but I wanted to provide a visual for you. So this is Jefferson. You'll also notice that there's not a lot of green, except for the fields. In other words, not a lot of tree canopy, which is something else that we will talk about a little bit later. And that's kind of true for many of the schools. Terra Nova has the most tree canopy, but that's an area that we'll talk about. Here we have Oceana. And you can see the solar array on top of Oceana, which again is fantastic. We have Terra Nova here, and this is an example of a rooftop unit. I just wanted to provide a visual for you so that you can kind of keep that in your mind when we talk a little later about some of the things that we can do to improve. Thornton is, of course, the smallest school and has the least amount of tree canopy there. No solar panels at Thornton, but all of the other schools do have solar panels. And here is Westmore. And again, we enlarged that one building and kind of blew it up so that you could see some of those rooftop units for when we talk about it a little bit later. Excuse me. So one of the most important things that we did during this data collection was count the number of natural gas appliances. Methane gas appliances is what they really are on the sidewalk. And the reason that we did that is that fossil fuel burning appliances are the second biggest contributor to climate change in San Mateo County. The first one is transportation, not surprisingly. Buildings are the second one, and it comes from all of these things that you see here. The reason that you'll see some of these being highlighted is those are kind of what we call the low-hanging fruit. Boilers and furnaces are difficult, of course, to just change out. They're giant, they're deep in a building, and much of the school is dependent on them. But when you have rooftop units and water heaters and ovens and stoves, those are a lot easier when it comes to infrastructure. So I wanted to highlight that, those are the things that are a little bit more low-hanging fruit. On this slide, we have the age of the gas-consuming equipment. And for this district, overnight, don't worry, it's okay. You are not alone at all in this. This is really just awareness building. And the thing that's really great about this is that it shows the age of the gas consuming equipment and how old it is. And by doing that, you're able to see where can we make the changes first, right? So we know that at Oceana, Terra Nova, and Thornton, those units have the highest percent of units that are over 20 years old. So this is really an opportunity. Everything that I present to you right now, please don't think that we're doing this because we want to shake a finger. This has nothing to do with that. This is, let's help the school districts gain some information, because information helps with making decisions in the future, right? So that was really the whole purpose of this, is to be able to provide you with information. So please think of it that way. Let's see on this slide, if there's anything else that I wanted to point out here. I think that that's the main thing. Westmore and Jefferson are not too far behind either. So, there's a lot of old equipment. This one has to do with solar. And this is really a win for Jefferson Union High School District, because every school except for Thornton, which is the tiniest one, has solar panels. So that's great. In our county, all of the electricity that is provided to us comes from clean sources. And so you all are helping by having your own on-site solar. One thing that could be improved is having backup battery storage also, depending on if power outages are an issue here. In some districts, they're a big issue. In some districts, they're not so big of an issue. You have some on-site fuel generators as well. So at some sites, if there is a power outage, then you've got some capacity to be able to deal with that and keep the schools open. So good job on the solar. This one's about transportation. The district, we worked with Marcus Peppers on all of this. I should have mentioned him. He's been very helpful in all of this as well. The fleet in Jefferson, because of the hills, and they've done a lot of research already about fleets. There aren't any electric fleets. So I would just say keep your eye on, as the technology changes, about whether that would be appropriate for Jefferson to look into in the future. On the school grounds, we looked at the garden beds. So here's another win. Every school has garden beds. Almost every school has garden beds that are in use. We know that students getting outside it's very, very important for their mental health, for their achievement. It helps them with their academics. And so that's a great thing about all of the schools, with the exception of Jefferson, that there's gardens in use. Nature play equipment is really for younger, so we don't worry about that one too much with high schools. Rain barrel or cisterns, I'll talk about those a little bit later. Outdoor learning areas are related to areas where a teacher could take a group of students, a class of students outside and have class outside one way or another. And then at the end there, you can see the estimated tree canopy. So we did that just by looking at Google Earth. And you can see that all of the school sites have some potential for increasing the tree canopy, which really helps, especially on high heat days. Okay, so those are the data that we collected. And I wanted to go into some recommendations, some of which have to do with these agencies that you see at the bottom of the slide. They have funding and they have technical assistance that can help with some of these things. So the first thing to know is that the Bay Area Air District, they have created some new rules that are going to go into effect in 2027, 2029, and 2031 related to zero NOx, which is zero nitrous oxide. Basically, a gas burning appliance essentially is kind of what that means. So coming up pretty quickly, we will not be able to buy gas burning appliances in San Mateo County. So that is something to begin to think about and plan for. When a water heater goes out, what tends to happen in districts is we have to switch them out really quickly. So the maintenance staff will just switch like for like. Whoops. So what we're trying to encourage districts to do is to, if a water heater goes out at this point, switch it out to electric rather than methane gas, because they're not going to be available anyway. So this slide is just talking about just kind of what I talked about. So the low hanging fruit, replace the gas consuming units that are easiest first. So there are 5 water heaters, 6 ovens, and 3 stoves. Those could be much more easily changed out with your current infrastructure than trying to, replace a giant boiler, for example. The rooftop units that I showed you in those pictures, those are another piece of low-hanging fruit because rooftop units can be switched out very easily. If they are gas burning right now, you can switch them out for a heat pump. And the great thing about it is that heat pumps can provide air conditioning as well as heating. Even though the name is heat pump, what it really means is it's shifting heat from place to place. So if you want it to be cool, they can cool. If you want it to be hot, they can do that. And they run on electricity. So then you're complying with those rules that are coming into effect. So that's a big low-hanging fruit that I just wanted to encourage you about, is replacing those rooftop units with heat pumps. Again, transportation, we're going to kind of skip over this one for now, since this isn't really something that is feasible for the district at this moment. But keep your eye on it for the future. Heat island reduction. So when campuses have a lot of cement and not a lot of greenery, that is what increases that heat island effect. I know we're here in Daly City and Jefferson. I know where we are. It's foggy and, it's not the hottest place like it is in the Central Valley. But that doesn't mean that there are, not high heat days here. So green canopy can really improve the cooling effect. And then rainwater resources, rain barrels and cisterns, those are places you can see there in the picture where we capture the water to be used in the landscaping. And that's great because we're in a drought-prone area. I'm going to talk just a little bit about some program recommendations because, like I said, the agencies have some really great programs. So the first one is San Mateo County Energy Watch. They are able to provide incentives and identify potential funding sources for any energy efficiency project that your district has. There's a link here to resources, and so that's a great resource. CEDA is for new construction and major remodels. So they give free energy design assistance. They have financial incentives. And again, the sustainability department, they run all this stuff. So you don't have to remember these things that I'm saying today. They can do all of this for you. And Laura Wong currently is the sustainability specialist. Then there's Peninsula Clean Energy. Peninsula Clean Energy, like I said, they're supplying all of us with 100% clean energy. It's either geothermal, hydroelectric, solar, or wind. Solar and wind can, but the sun goes down. So we have to have the hydro and the geothermal for those times when there's no sun and we don't have battery storage. So Peninsula Clean Energy is amazing that way. And they can provide support to schools for all of these things. Electric vehicle charging stations, if you want to put any of those in at any site. Electric fleets, solar and battery systems in the future. I'm seeing that one thing got left off my slide here, which is, it's my fault, building electrification, so they can support that as well. And we can connect you with these people. So Peninsula Clean Energy, these are the people. Philip runs the EV charging infrastructure and the electric fleets. We've got Peter, who's in charge of the solar and storage. We've got Blake, who takes care of building electrification. So there's a lot of people that are ready and waiting at Peninsula Clean Energy who can help you with the funding and also the technical assistance. Okay, so this next couple of slides, and I'm almost done, is just talking about sustainability planning. So this one, oops, not this one, this one. So access to funding. Okay, so my colleague, Ron Soper, he is the Director of Sustainable Facilities and Construction at the San Mateo County Office of Education. He's the only one in the state of California. No other county office of education has a Ron. And we are very fortunate, and districts are very fortunate, because he can help you with all of this stuff. He's an architect, I'm an educator, so he knows what he's talking about when it comes to facilities. And because I'm an educator, this is the only slide that requires speaker notes for me. So this is from Ron. So energy service companies, this is a possibility for you all that could really provide a lot of energy savings. So what they are is they are companies that SMCOE is going to pre-qualify. They are not going to cost the district any money to do what they do. They look top to bottom at all the appliances in the district and see if there's a case to be made for replacing the methane gas appliances with electric. So it's an opportunity to move to be more efficient with all electric equipment with no upfront costs. And I'm not going to explain right now why there isn't any upfront costs, but it just has to do with the cost structure where the energy savings offsets. And so it is like free money that's there for the taking. So I just wanted you to know about that, and so did Ron. So Proposition 2 also was the bond that we just passed, and there still is possibilities for getting money from that. The district does have to have a facilities master plan within the last 5 years. And this is our team. So Ron was not able to be here tonight, and we also have Fanny Shea, who assists with all of these programs as well. And we are all available at any point for you. And I, again, just want to thank all of you for allowing me to come today.
That was awesome. Thank you, Julie. I'd like to open it up to the board for any questions or comments.
Yeah, just a quick comment, and I think this is probably more for Deputy Superintendent Van Rapport. I think when we look at our facilities plan, we probably should be looking into some of our sustainability functions and features, with whether it's remodeling of facilities or certainly looking at this equipment. And if there's, obviously grants and other net zero costs to us, we should definitely be looking into it. But thank you for this, because this is really valuable data. And I think this will certainly help inform the way I know I, as a board member, will look at upcoming facilities plans. Thank you.
I think just to comment quickly on that, there are a lot of things that we've been doing as a district, and I think the county has, been building their systems and programs at the same time. So I think we're really at a key place where we're about to be able to coordinate all these efforts and make a bigger impact. Like we've partnered with Climatech. You guys approved that, I want to say like 6 months ago. And they are looking at our HVAC systems and seeing if they can find us grant money. So that's an example probably of one of those ESCOs that you will be having in the future. I don't know. But so they're in the process of helping us figure out if changing to heat pumps is something feasible through grant money. And then we've also partnered with Commercial Energy to stabilize our gas procurement prices, as you know. But as part of that, they also have been analyzing our PG&E usage, both in electrical and gas, and making recommendations and just helping us make sure we're getting the right rates from PG&E, because I guess that's a thing that they can just change your rates and you don't realize it, and then You ask them to change them back and they change them back. So anyway, so we have been doing a lot of these things. We also have King Consulting that is helping us make sure that we're going to get some of that Prop 2 money. So we have all these things kind of in the works, and there are more resources that Julie has brought to us. So I think we will keep making good progress.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your presentation. It's quite an education, and I'm really excited about that free money. I don't know. I should call Ron now. Yeah, call Ron. That should just be a rally cry there. But it sounds like we're on. I mean, you always take such good care of our district, Tina, Ms. Veneropoulos. And it sounds like, with the additional resources, we're going to be in a better place. Because it just kills me that we had to get rid of those solar panels, and that was like $300,000 right there that we had to give up, right, recently. So, but always looking for ways to make our district better and more sustainable, definitely. Now we've got these new rules coming. I think we need to be proactive, and it sounds like we are, but we're on track. But I really appreciate this presentation. Thank you very much.
For sure. I just want to say, yeah, the district definitely is on track. And some of this data is a little bit old because we collected it about a year ago now. Yeah. And so there have been some really great things that Ms. Van Raphorst is spearheading, and Superintendent Presta and the other staff, and, Marcus Peppers. So definitely good things have been happening that they are more aware of that I wasn't necessarily for this presentation. So yeah, so I commend, and that's why our office, we do have a partnership with Peninsula Clean Energy to provide these awards. And that's why, actually, I think last year you received a $500 award as well for something different from the staff housing. And this year the award was for another kind of building electrification. So yeah, things are happening that are really good. So just keep it up. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I don't know if there's going to be new data about our district, but I kind of wonder to myself what the district office and the adult school buildings look like, taking the same kind of measurements. Maybe we'll find out one day.
So I will just say that that's actually the award we got last year was for these buildings because they're 100% electric.
Oh, yes. Right. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one thing, is that these two buildings are 100% electric and they both have solar panels that we own, as opposed to why we had to pay for those other ones because we did not own them. That was part of an MOU type agreement.
So you're telling me these two buildings are 100%
Electric.
boogie, woogie, woogie?
Yep.
I believe they're also both net zero energy.
LEED certified.
Yeah. The reason that the electric is so good is that Peninsula Clean Energy, like I said before, is providing us with 100% clean energy. So there's no fossil fuels that are being burned. And that's where the big increases in climate change come from. So just by having the lights on right now, you are not contributing to climate change. So that's a win that your community should know about. It's really good.
Thank you.
Okay, Julie, I was geeking out during your presentation because this is I'm a union HVAC sheet metal guy, and this is what I do. So I was looking at all your presentation. I'm like, yep, that's about it. So anyways, great stuff. The presentation obviously makes us very aware of what our needs are. And I think that you did a great job as you were going through it, I was having questions, but you were answering them as you were going. So you were providing solutions and places for us to go for help. And that's great. I mean, it's a great starting point, even if it is a little bit outdated. We obviously know that we're on top of it. It sounds like over here. So
I mean,
for sure.
We're just headed in the right direction.
That's
what I
okay.
think. I think we're all,
good.
we're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm seeing it, from my workspace too, how it's changing. So, and this is pretty spot on. So thank you for that. And I'm looking forward to seeing what we're doing. And if you guys need anybody to consult with, you could just holler at me. Thank you, though, again. I appreciate it.
Sure.
Just thank you. I mean, I've seen the presentation. I'm grateful for your partnership and Ron, and I'm proud that we are, as Tina said, like we're in the right direction. We're moving in the right direction. So I'm grateful. Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Thanks, Julie.
All right.
I think
Okay.
we're all
Thank you
good.
so
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
Appreciate it. All right. Moving on to business. Okay, 16A3 is Deputy Superintendent, this is Food Services Department update with Deputy Superintendent of Businesses Tina Van Raphorst and our Director of Food Services, Danielle Sweeters.
Hi.
Hi.
I just want to say that before Danielle gets started, how proud I am to work with her and her team, who all these beautiful people will need to be up at like 6 a.m. tomorrow to get the food ready for our kids. So this is really a testament that they're here tonight. Under Danielle's leadership, the Food Service Department has continued to provide nutritious, safe, and appealing meals to students across the district. Her commitment to quality, efficiency, and innovation ensures that we not only meet the nutritional needs of our students, but also make sure that they have the support and ability to learn and thrive in our schools. And this is her annual update of the food service program. Take it away, Administrator of the Year.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. And as you had dinner tonight, I hope
Yes,
you
we did.
enjoyed it. That was definitely just an example of what the students get every single day. And
Lucky
from-
students.
Yes, from this lovely staff right here.
Yes.
Okay, our agenda tonight is the program highlights, the fiscal update, program goals, and questions and discussions, if you have any. Pictured is our student worker at Terra Nova, serving from our new oatmeal bar. His name is Tyler. Program highlights. Here we have 2 employees, and you can see behind them the fresh delivery of bread. Okay. The grab and go bars. So that is somewhat new. We started it last year at Jefferson, and we have the grab and go bars at Jefferson and Westmore, filled with fresh produce, healthy snacks for students that don't want to wait in line, are still hungry, or want to grab something for their after-school activities. The other food bars that we have at Terra Nova and Oceana, we now have salad bars and oatmeal bars. Terra Nova's salad bar is taco themed, and Oceana generally has taco themed salad bars Tuesday, Thursday, and more classic salad bar on the other days. New items. Each kitchen has been given training and support to begin trying new menu items that might be popular with their students. Examples are the Reubens, which you had tonight on rye with sauerkraut, and the charcuterie snack platters, which you also enjoyed today. All right. Presentation. And you enjoyed one
I
of
want
the
that baked
other
potato,
new
right?
one
Yeah.
with the pineapple, the jicama, and the cucumber.
Make him a
When you
mouth
had
water.
that for,
tahini
you had,
in there.
yes, you had that. So that's a new one this year.
Yeah.
Signage. This is snack bar at Oceana. All right. Their highlights, fast lines, because we know the students don't want to, we don't want to take their time up. We want them to enjoy a meal, but still have free time for themselves. So most days, most lines are resolved within 10 minutes of the lunch period, leaving plenty of time for students to eat and socialize. Good morale, less turnover. Staff are staying in their jobs longer, and vacant positions are filled quickly. Improvements have been more training and support for workers and more autonomy for the school sites. Sustainability, less waste. We are transitioning to compostable packaging. Utensils for the most items. Kitchens are fully outfitted with the tri-bins, and staff has been trained on sustainable practices. All right, here are some slides showing the freshness of the food and scratch cooking and the good morale.
And the cleanliness.
Yeah.
This is the grab and go bar at Westmore that we opened up this year. And also in one of the weekly recaps, I had mentioned that I also am putting up the nutrition posters. So students, while they're either in line or grabbing something, learn all about what is good for their bodies and like why we really promote the healthy food and why it's good for them.
I'm going to talk really briefly about the fiscal update. I'm just going to tell you if you, so the orange bars are how much money we spent, the expenditures. And then the yellow bar just says whether that was a surplus or a deficit. So I didn't put the revenue. I just showed you. So in 15-16, we spent $1.1 million and that caused a $156,000 deficit. So that means that the revenue was $156,000 less than the expenditures. Historically, our program has always run at a deficit until Universal Meals started in 21-22. That year, we had a pretty much break-even program. Last year, our program made a significant amount of money, I think, over almost $300,000. And so I encourage Danielle to ensure that the meals that we're serving our kids, like try some higher quality products if we need to, maybe get a little more staff. Like our goal is really to run a break-even program. We want to spend as much money on making it a good program without having any contribution from the general fund. So last year we came really close to that break-even with just a $61,000 deficit, which was easily covered by the previous year's surplus. And this year we're on track to have a break-even program. And as you can see, the amount we're spending each year is going up because of just inflation, but also because of improvements we're making to the program.
Program goals. Our lovely Oceana staff right there. Increase student input. We have QR codes that have been posted in the cafeterias and code lines for students to go to a Google form sheet to give their input. Student input is provided mostly anecdotally and monitored which meals are in high demand. Exploring new items. With grant funds, we've been able to purchase upgraded restaurant style equipment. You may have seen that in a lot of my weekly recaps. Staff would benefit from more training and support using these tools to provide more items that are cooked from scratch. Improve signage and information. Menus are handwritten or typed and posted each day. We have improved school website menus to reflect each school's unique menu. We plan to upgrade to electronic signage and make sure students have access to the current day's and next day's menus. It has been updated already on our website so that students can go on the website and see what's for today. And then we plan to get the digital signage inside the cafeterias over the summer. Oh, all right, and that concludes the presentation. This is the Westmore staff.
All right. Thank you very much.
Any questions? Comments?
Just comments, really. Thank you. Food was fantastic. Tonight's dinner was great. In fact, President Gallegos will tell you when I first walked upstairs, I literally could not make a decision on what to do. I had decision paralysis because everything looked so good. The other thing was after I'd looked at the presentation over the weekend, I happened to show my son, who class of 2019, and also happens to be subbing here currently. And when I showed him some of the photos, his eyes just went big and he was just kind of blown away because he doesn't remember food like this back in 2019.
It wasn't.
So just really fabulous work. Just really fabulous work. And, the other thing is when we first started having student trustees, the number one complaint was food. We haven't heard anything about food from the student trustees in a really long time. So that's really credit to you and your team. So thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, delicious food tonight. I'm a big believer in, if the stomach is full, then the brain can work, right? Because it's supplying it glucose and it's happy, it's excited. And I'm really impressed with your innovations and being more efficient. And I think people underestimate that little extra 5 minutes that kids have to just banter with each other, rub elbows with each other and socialize, right? And so in that spirit of digitizing your menu so they can look at things ahead of time, are you considering giving them the ability to pre-order so they just show up and you have your order ready, order for blah, 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 you just pick and go, so then they give even more time with each other. I'm not sure if you've thought about that and what that would entail, cost. That's for Miss Rob Horst and you two in a debate, but just comments. But thank you. You're amazing work. Thank you for all you do. Really appreciate you all.
Amazing. I'm just like, oh my gosh, we went through, when the students they brought the school lunch to our board meeting and showed us what they were eating, actually not eating, refusing to eat, but they said, this is what we are served. And then our student trustees, it was always about food. It was always about food. And then we went through the whole Chartwell's era. And to know that you're actually making food again, it's, my daughter, she graduated in 2022 from Jeff, and she never got the school lunch because part of it was the lines were too long. She didn't like what was served, and she always had like a club thing going on at lunchtime, and the lines were too long. Now you've cut the lines down to 10 minutes, and it's not just time for them to socialize, but they can get to their meeting and have a good lunch. Because that was always like the complaint. How do you cut it down to 10 minutes? How is that possible?
It's just the way that we have everything ready for them, the way that we let them grab their own milks, and the way that we put all the fruit baskets up above for them to pick for themselves. So it was really looking at from the outside and walking through the kitchen and pretending you're a student. Instead of standing on the kitchen side as an employee, it was having to do walkthroughs of like, well, how will we make this quicker? And all the fruits and vegetables, the carrots and the apples, the bananas, making that accessible for them to grab on their own just cuts down the time if you have hundreds, literally hundreds of students. So it's not one employee.
Right.
Oh, chocolate or white, which one? You just leave it there and let them help themselves.
Oh, great. And then the QR codes, have they been giving a lot of input?
It's not
up and down.
Yeah, it's up and down.
Yeah, but they clearly have, you can tell what their favorites are because of what they're taking.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, great. And then you're serving breakfast as well.
Yep. And then we started this year as well, where on collab days was only lunch. So we serve breakfast before school.
Oh,
so
wonderful.
They have access to 2 meals every single day.
That's great. Because I know some of the students, this is their best meals are at school. Yeah. Thank you again. Thank you so much again for everything you do for our students. And I will be visiting the schools next year for lunch.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. Thanks everyone for coming out and for sticking around. I appreciate it. Thank you for your work. I visited Oceana during lunch yesterday, and I really liked the snack bar. It just looked clean and orderly, and that peanut butter and jelly sandwich looked fantastic. I had to pull something up here because I used to be a teacher. I didn't pay too much attention to some of those education classes. You're talking about the hierarchy of needs and how psychological needs are first. And I think Marty talked about that a little bit. So thank you for meeting those for our students, and thank you for anticipating their needs. I don't know. I keep talking about this. My first action as a board member was going to the board member conference, and the opening speaker talked about how, paraphrasing, kind of the biggest force in educating students is to be able to love them. And I think that this is a perfect example. And, or at least for me to say out of my mouth, I think that probably get perfect examples every time someone comes and presents to us. So thank you for that, for being able to love our students enough to satisfy these needs. I have only one question. So if by some magic, the next time you show up for work, the stoves are electric, is that a problem?
No.
Just curious.
Yeah. It would not be a problem.
I actually noticed that in one of the photos you showed, there was a propane that you would, I'm like, what happens to that item on the menu?
Sure, that is a handheld, the same that restaurants use to make creme brulee.
Yes.
Just say, were you making creme brulee? What?
That was our apples brulee at Oceana, where the apples were caramelized on top of cinnamon raisin bread.
You realize you're going to have to bring that for a future board meeting dinner?
I know.
Just saying, you can't say that without bringing it to us.
I know.
It's fantastic. Thank you very much.
Good thing.
All right. Man, that was a great presentation. Looking at all that food definitely made me hungry. The presentation of the food, I think that's one of those things that just, it brings the students in, right? When they see something that looks good, the colors, the way you pair it together, the way it's presented, it's palatable, right? It looks fun. And I know that in our society, our kids like to take pictures of their food and post them on their social media and stuff. So that food's really important to us, I think, as a society in general. So it's more important to kids that are trying to learn and have energy for the day and get through school. And like Rosie said, some kids, this is where they get their best meals. And for us to be able to provide meals like you guys are all providing for our kids is really amazing. It's really amazing. It's so cool to see, and I'm really proud to be part of something like this. And I just want to thank all you guys for all your hard work. I know it's not easy, but when the morale is good, it is fun. And I know cooking can be a pleasure if you're doing it with people that you're having fun doing it with, and you're seeing the smiles on the kids' faces. That's enjoyable. You get something out of that. So thank you for all of it. I really appreciate it and look forward to seeing what's to come. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I hear from I don't mention my own child much in board meetings because he doesn't like it. But I will say, after making his lunch for every day of his school life until high school, I was like, listen, you gotta start eating lunch at school. I'm done. I'm tapped out. And initially he was like, I don't want to eat a school lunch. And he happily eats the school lunch. And I will say I will say, Penny, thank you. I will say I've mentioned things and then all of a sudden they arrive in the Oceana cafeteria. So thank you. But it's not just at Oceana. Like I pop in every once in a while to all of the cafeterias, and honest to goodness, I would happily eat anything in the cafeterias. Oftentimes I'm at Jefferson and there's kids outside walking, not eating. And I'm like, why are you not eating? There's great food in there. And increasingly students, the number of students who are eating at school just keeps increasing. And that's really a credit to you who are making the food for them, who it is more than like tonight's dinner that you provided wasn't something special. That's what the kids get on a regular basis. It's really tasty and stuff that they'd want to eat. It's not just pizza slices or, things like that, of course they like pizza slices too, but nutritious and attractive and high quality. And I'm just so grateful because what Rosie was talking about at student advisory, like honestly, every single year, that's all we would hear about was the lunches. And we don't hear that And if anybody ever complains, I'm like, listen, go try it and then you come back and tell me. So the quality is just exponentially better than it's been in years. And so just thank you so much. And thank you, Danielle, because your leadership has made this happen. So thank you.
My pleasure. All right. I will add, we did have our administrative review with California Department of Education this year. It's once every 5 years. And our auditor did tell us that it was one of the nicest districts she has ever reviewed.
Right on.
Thank you for that.
That kind of stuff.
You ladies get home safe tonight.
Thank you for staying so late.
Yeah.
Thank you for staying so late.
Okay, we are moving along. We're going to move on to 17A1, which is our approval renewal of Oceana's High School's Alternative School of Choice waiver. And we're going to turn it over to our Deputy Superintendent of Educational Services, Ms. Karine Baca.
Good evening, President Gallegos. Good evening, members of the board. Presented for your approval is the renewal of Oceana High School's instructional minutes waiver. The waiver requests that Oceana High School continue to maintain the previously approved reduction of required minutes that has happened since 1991. This waiver reduces the required instructional minutes by 4,560 minutes per school year, which is approximately 25 minutes per day. The reduction will allow time for staff collaboration and planning, as well as for students to complete their community service hours requirements. If approved, the waiver will be effective for 2 years, starting in the 25-26 school year.
Thank you, Ms. Baca. Are there any comments or questions?
No. Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 17A2, approval of Board Policy 6146.1, high school graduation requirements. Deputy Superintendent of Educational Services, Ms. Karine Baca.
Hello again. Before you is the proposed updates to our high school graduation requirements effective with the class of 2031. These changes reflect the new state mandates and our commitment to preparing students for college, career, and life beyond high school. So the 3 key updates are the personal finance requirement, which is in compliance with AB 2927, where students will complete a standalone 5-credit personal finance course. And this course will begin on or before the 27-28 school year and be required for the class of 2031. The second change is the visual and performing arts and world language split. The current 10-credit combined requirement will be separated into 10 credits for each visual and performing arts and world language. And the third one is a credit increase. The total credit requirement will increase from 225 to 230. So these revisions will support academic readiness, A through G alignment, and essential life skills. And we recommend for the board to approve the revised graduation requirements beginning with the class of 2031.
Any questions or comments?
I have a question. Do you happen to know when the last time we changed this was? The board changed this policy?
This was changed maybe a couple of years ago with ethnic studies was put in place.
Okay, thanks.
Just for clarification, I'm just think both this and going back to the presentation from the last board meeting. So we're adding personal finance, we're splitting the VAPA and world language so that 10 units of each. We're essentially 10 units shy technically of a full A through G graduation requirement based on this, right? Because the only thing that's missing is the second year of a world language. Okay. And this class of the class of 2031 would be the freshman class of fall 27, or is that fall of 26?
The class of 2031, I think they're in 7th grade right now.
Okay, all right. So fall of, okay.
However, because there's so much request for the personal finance course, more likely this will be offered at all schools in the next couple of years.
Okay.
I think that the class of 2031 are 6th graders right now.
Okay.
6th graders.
Okay. All right. Right.
Yeah, can we get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, moving on. 17A3.
This one, the class ranking, oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
So the class ranking places students in order based on their grade point average. This rank is included on transcripts and is visible to students' families, colleges, and potential employers. However, class rank can result in evaluations that focus solely on academic performance without acknowledging a student's broader strengths, experiences, and personal growth. So to better support student well-being and promote academic exploration, we recommend that the language be added to Board Policy 5121 to remove class ranking from the student transcripts beginning with the class of 2027. So in seeking input from school principals, I received varied responses. One favored the implementation starting with the class of 2026, and another preferred the class of 2028, which is our current freshman. So choosing class of 2027 represents a balanced approach. And additionally, feedback from educational partners largely referenced, when I gathered this input, I referenced class of 2027, and there was a general comfort with this class. So based on that, I recommend to implement this starting with a class of 2027.
And those are the current sophomores, right?
The current
They will be
sophomores.
juniors starting this fall. Okay.
I have one question. Any sense of sentiment from the community, like the parents of these kids?
From the class of 2027?
Yeah.
A lot of this, when I sent out the survey, a lot of the folks that completed the survey would have had like their students graduate already. And so it's only very few that really, said wait, or basically they're indifferent.
Okay.
And so ranking, does it hold weight in any way? And is there, so it's
Not anymore. A lot of school districts have gone away from ranking. And so when students apply for colleges, one of the questions that they ask is, does your school rank? And the counselors say no, and then they're okay with that. They really look at more on the grade point average of students and the types of classes students take more than ranking.
Thank you.
Yeah, right. I think that the stat that kind of jumped out for me during the discussion last time was that only 5.5% of colleges actually considered it significant. So that was enough for me.
And with more districts going away from it, it's
Right.
going to eventually go.
Right. And I think the other thing too were just some of the samples that were shown during the discussion with where, somebody who's as old as we are looking at their transcript showing their class ranking, which is kind of disheartening if you've been out of high school for 30 years.
Yes, it has. Yes.
So
You miss Miss Baswino's.
I wasn't calling anybody out. I was just simply saying in general, if you're, 30 years beyond high school. So,
All right. Well, if there's no further questions or comments, can we get a motion to?
Move to approve BP 5121 grades/evaluation of student achievement.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right. 17A4, approval of board policy 5127, graduation ceremonies.
So it is recommended that the Board of Trustees adopt the Latin honor system, replacing the valedictorian and salutatorian titles beginning with the class of 2027. This system recognizes a broader group of high-achieving students based on GPA performance and on-state assessments, including the Smarter Balanced Assessment scores, and their participation ensures that academic honors reflect both strong classroom environment and mastery of state standards through an objective statewide benchmark. This also encourages students to take the assessments seriously, helping improve overall engagement with the state accountability measures. The policy would also allow schools to recognize additional achievements such as the State Seal of Biliteracy, Golden State Seal Merit Diploma, Career Technical Education Completion, and many more. And with this, I recommend that the board approve this revised policy.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments regarding this?
I'll start.
Yeah.
I am concerned about tying testing to Latin honors. If they've got the GPA to earn those honors, summa, magna, etc., then they should get it exclusive of the test. So I'm okay with moving to this without the testing. That's where I stand.
I thought we discussed that, or we didn't come to a conclusion,
The,
right?
the recommendation before us includes that.
Yes.
I'm simply saying that if I were to make a motion right now, I would make
Yeah.
a motion to approve it without the testing.
Right, and I thought that, oh gosh, so I thought that when we last discussed this, that we also felt, I think we did feel that way. At least I felt that way too. I mean, I understand that we want the students to take the assessment benchmarks seriously, and this is a way for them to actually take the Smarter Balance test. But if you've got the GPA, you've got the Latin, that has earned you that Latin honor. So I'm also of that mind. I don't want to tie it to changing it to the Latin honor and having them have to meet these benchmark assessments.
I have a question, just to clarify again. The Smarter Balance test, what is the significance of it to us as a school district?
So the Smarter Balance Assessment is tied into the California State dashboard that I presented.
Yep.
So if us as a district or some significant subgroups do not meet the threshold, we may end up in differentiated assistance for the state of California, which could mean a monthly meeting with the County Office of Education to develop a plan and implement a plan. So that's just one part. And then there's federal accountabilities that is tied to that also, which means another set of meetings with different groups of people. And so it's really just, it's accountability and creating additional plans and implementing those plans. And sometimes what is expected is like unfunded mandate where, we're basically in meetings all day.
Yeah. So ultimately, it sounds to me like the Smarter Balance test, yes, it doesn't have a direct academic merit to the students per se, but at a global picture of our school district and making sure that we have a robust schools district that serves students at the utmost level, we want more students to take the Smarter Balance test.
And we want them to take it seriously because when I looked at the data, the summa cum laudes are the ones who typically actually already get the standard met or above. And so it really just shows that, what they're learning in the classroom is represented in these assessments. And if for whatever reason, they don't get a standard met or above, and they meet the GPA participation, they still would get recognized, but they would be recognized as the cum laude instead of the magna or the summa.
Okay.
So for cum laude, it's participation in all of the exam. For magna cum laude, either standard met or above, either in English or math. And then for summa cum laude would be for both math and English.
Okay. So I speak for myself. I think it makes sense to pass it as it is. Yes, it might not be ideal for the students, but if we're really stepping back and setting a foundation for future generation students to come, I think it only makes sense that we encourage more students to take the Smarter Balance test. Yes, it might not necessarily count towards the overall grade per se, but it reflects to us as a school district and gives us a blueprint of a quote unquote a good school district going forward, right?
Fundamentally for me, if you've earned the designation based on your academic achievement in the classroom, you should get the designation, irrespective of whether you take the exam. Taking the exam is really it's really a school site issue where they need to encourage the students to be able to take that exam. And I think that's a separate issue from the academic achievement of the student in the classroom. I think that adding the task testing to this is actually punitive. And I fundamentally disagree with that inclusion with this designation.
Yeah, Andy, we've talked about that a little bit, and I'm kind of leaning your way on this. I was a little bit torn at first. I know we need the students that are performing well to take these tests. I mean, it's important that they take these tests and that we gather this data and so it more represents what our district is doing and how we're doing. So that's important. But like you said, I don't know if tying it to this honor system is fair. Just because, like you said, if they're performing at the level they're supposed to be performing at and hitting their GPAs. So just a real quick question on their honors. It's not based on how well they perform on the test. It's just based on if they take the test, right? Is that kind of what it is? Or?
It's tiered. So for the summa cum laude, so a student can get a 1, 2, 3, or 4. So 3 and 4 are passing. And so for the summa cum laude, if they get a 3 or a 4 in English and in math, and they meet the GPA criteria, they would get the summa cum laude. For the magna, it's one or the other, either math or English. And then for the cum laude, it's participation.
Got it. So that's how you're encouraging them to really try hard to take the test. And how else you've probably heard this before, but how else does that Smarter Balance assessment affect them aside from this, like taking that test? Where in their academic,
Right now, the California State University of System actually uses their scores for the early assessment program to see if they can be placed in the college level course when they first start college. So I know that's one of the measures. So if they get a standard met or above, then they could be placed in, is it English 100 at the CSU levels.
Are we communicating that to the students though? Because it seems like if they understand that, then that's really the carrot.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that tying it to this is the right approach. It's really more about
it's like how do we get them
right?
Yeah,
and maybe we need to. It's one of those situations where we need to over communicate it to the students.
Yeah, especially if it's being looked at by the potential colleges for sure. Yeah, this is a tough one.
The way I look at this is, back in the day when you graded students A, B, A+, A-, the A+ student was the one that turned that assignment in a little bit on time. The assignment was still turned in, it was still graded, but they just put that extra effort. And so it's worthy to recognize and appreciate that effort. That's the way I view this. And I really, if maybe my perspective is completely wrong, I'm willing and open to learn, but am I looking at it differently, or is that?
I see what you're saying, but I think the way I'm looking at this is like, if I'm looking at it like when you're grading on a curve and you have a big test that counts a lot towards your grade. This seems to carry a lot of weight for this honor system, meaning they could have a great year academically, acing, nailing everything. Come into school today, they're having a bad day, and they don't do well on that test for some reason.
I see.
They're tired. Something's happening at home. They don't do well, and that knocks them down from getting a better from being higher up on their honor system. That's tough for me to kind of feel comfortable with.
Right.
Um,
a good way to put it.
Exactly. I completely agree with that. I mean, the board policy should simply say summa cum laude on track to receive a diploma GPA 4.0 and above, period. Magna cum laude on track to receive a diploma GPA of 3.7 and above, period. Cum laude on track to receive the diploma GPA of 3.5 and above, period. That's how it should read, in my opinion.
yeah.
And then basically remarket or rebrand the Smarter Balance test to the students and show them why they should take
Right.
it.
That's a separate discussion altogether, right?
Got it. Okay. Thank you for the clarification.
Okay. I'd make a motion to approve.
All right. So motion to approve BP 5127 graduation and ceremonies, eliminating the Smarter Balance testing requirement for all 3 Latin honors to just limit summa to 4.0 and above, magna to 3.7 and above, and cum laude 3.5 and above.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just to clarify before I vote on that, that means we're taking out the standard, the Smarter Balance testing, right? That's what we're voting on.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Aye. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Corinne, thank you for that. I know we're really trying to figure out a way to get these testing scores and people participating.
It's a good discussion.
That's a tough one. We're going to figure it out. We have to figure it out. It's important. So we'll get back on that at some point.
Thank you.
All right. Scooting along here. So 17B1, public disclosure of proposed bargaining agreement with.
Excuse me, President Gallegos.
Yeah.
It's 9:39. Can we take a quick 5-minute?
Absolutely. Yeah, let's do it. Potty break?
Yes.
Yes. 5-minute recess. We'll reconvene. 9:45. Is it really 9:45? Wow. Okay. Let's see. Where are we at here? 17B1. Okay. Public disclosure of proposed bargaining agreement with American Federation of Teachers, Local 1481, Deputy Superintendent of Business Services, Ms. Tina Van Raphorst.
Thank you, President Gallegos. Later on the agenda, Ms. Lujan will be asking the board to approve a tentative agreement with AFT. This agreement includes a salary increase. AB 1200 is legislation that stipulates that prior to approving any collective bargaining agreement that increases costs to the district, the board must adopt a public disclosure that outlines the impact to the budget. The public disclosure document that's before you is based on the most recent approved budget, which was adopted in March during our second interim report, and it includes the impact of the proposed tentative agreement. It shows that the district can meet the projected costs for this fiscal year and subsequent 2 years. As noted in the document, the district will use reserve funds to cover the increased costs. The document has been reviewed and affirmed by the business staff at the San Mateo County Office of Ed. And with that, I would like to recommend that you approve the public disclosure as presented.
Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for your work on that too, Tina.
All right.
All right. Next up, 17B2.
Thank you. For this item, I recommend that the board approve Resolution 2024-2025/20, which would approve the engineer's report and declare the district's intent to continue assessments for the 25-26 fiscal year for the Maintenance Assessment District. The resolution would also provide notice of a public hearing for June 3rd, where you will be asked to vote to continue this assessment. The Maintenance Assessment District generates about $350,000 annually.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. 17C1. Approval of tentative agreement with the American Federation of Teachers, Local 1481, Director of Human Resources, Ms. Dana Lujan.
Good evening, everyone. The item before you is a tentative agreement which summarizes language changes that AFT 1481 and the district have agreed upon, as well as salary schedule updates that reflect the 4% raise that we have agreed upon.
Thank you, Dana. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is this deserve applause?
Excuse me?
Should we applaud? Thing, right? It's a good thing.
All right. 17C2, salary schedule revision and for unrepresented employees, Ms. Dana Lujan.
Thank you. This item here represents salary schedule revisions that also reflect a 4% raise equal to what was provided to AFT 1481. It just covers the employees who are not represented by AFT 1481.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
17C3, public hearing and actions, Ms. Dana Lujan.
Thank you again. The item here is a sunshine where Teamsters 856 and the district would like to open negotiations, particularly focused on one small language change and salary and benefits.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
This is public hearing, so
what
you're
does
going to have
that
to
mean?
open a hearing.
Oh, open a hearing. Is there? Okay.
Tap, tap.
Okay, my bad. Sorry, guys. Open for public hearing?
No, they don't. Then you close public hearing.
Okay, close public hearing.
That's no problem.
All right.
Now we do a motion.
Can I ask a question?
I didn't know that.
So I should know this by now, and I don't. So let's get me straight.
Got it.
When we use the word sunshine, does that mean we are making something apparent to the public?
Yes, we are making when we engage in negotiations, the last thing we want to do is we want to keep it above board. So we want the public to have an opportunity. If we're opening an article that the public may want to have a comment on, we want to provide them with that space so that way they know what we're going to talk about in negotiations. I'm glad you asked.
Thanks. I'm glad you know.
That was a good wondering.
That's a great explanation, by the way.
Okay.
It's 10 o'clock.
Move to approve.
There you
Second.
go. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so if there's no consideration of future agenda items, we are going to adjourn back to closed session.
Motion to adjourn back to closed session.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Forgot about all of it.